Yunhan was tired. She had been working the night shift on the space station for 3 weeks. Her job was to listen to space signals and report anything strange to her boss. Most nights she heard nothing but empty space noise, but tonight was different. What is that? She said to herself, looking at her computer screen. Strange signals were coming from far away in space. They came in patterns, like someone was trying to talk. Hound put on her headphones and changed the signals into sounds. What she heard made her blood go cold. It sounded like screaming. Not human screaming, but something else. Something afraid and in pain. She called Captain Lee Minho right away. "Captain, you need to hear this," she said when he answered. "I found something bad." Captain Minho came to the control room in 10 minutes. He was a good leader who always listened to his crew. When Hound played the sounds for him, his face went white. "How long have these signals been coming?" he asked. "For hours, sir, maybe days. They are very weak, so I almost missed them." Minho called Dr. Park Nari, the ship's science officer. She was the smartest person he knew about alien life. When she arrived, she listened to the signals for a long time without saying a word. "This is not natural," she finally said. "Someone is calling for help. Someone very far away." "How far?" Minho asked. "At least 50 light years, maybe more." Minho felt a cold feeling in his stomach. Their ship, the UES Dauntless, was the best Earth had. If someone 50 light years away was in trouble, it would take them months to get there. "Can you understand what they are saying?" he asked Dr. Park. "I need time." "But Captain, these signals, they have been going on for a very long time, years maybe." The next 3 days were busy. Dr. Park worked day and night to understand the alien signals. She found that the signals repeated the same message over and over. It was like a recording that played again and again. "I think I know some of what they are saying," she told the captain. "The word help comes up many times. And another word that might mean death or gone." Captain Minho made a hard choice. He sent a message to Earth asking for permission to go to the source of the signals. Admiral Kim Do-yeon replied in 2 days, "Permission granted. Take your ship and find out what is happening, but be careful." The Dauntless left human space and flew toward the strange signals. The trip took 6 weeks. Every day the signals got stronger. Every day they sounded more like screaming. When they finally reached the star system, what they saw was horrible. "My God," said Commander Choi Jae-won, looking at the main screen. "What happened here? The planets in the system looked wrong." They were brown and gray, with no green or blue anywhere. No oceans, no forests, no cities. Just empty, dead rock. "Scanning now," said Dr. Park. Her voice was shaking. "Captain, these planets used to have life, lots of life, but now—" Nothing. Around each planet were huge metal structures in space. They looked like giant factories, but they were dark and quiet now. "The signals are coming from the 3rd planet," said Hound, "but they are very weak now." Captain Minho ordered the ship to go closer to the planet. What they found there would give him nightmares for the rest of his life. The planet's surface was like glass, smooth and shiny, as if something had melted everything and let it cool. But under the ground, their scanners found something else. Caves and tunnels far below the surface. "There are life signs down there," said Dr. Park. "Not many, but some." They sent down a small team with translation equipment. What they found were the last survivors of a race called the Villani. They lived in deep caves, hiding from something terrible. The Villani were small and gray, with big eyes that looked very sad. They could barely talk because they were so weak. But slowly, Dr. Park learned their story. The harvesters came 5 years ago, the old Villani leader told them through the translation machine. They came from far space with many ships. More ships than stars in the sky. What did they want? Dr. Park asked. "Everything. They took our people. They took our animals. They took our plants. They made everything into fuel for their ships." The Villani showed them pictures on old computers. The pictures showed their world before the harvesters came. It had been beautiful, with blue oceans and green forests, cities full of happy people. "We Tried to fight, the old Villani said, but they were too many. Too strong. We could only hide and hope someone would hear our calls for help. How many of you are left? Captain Minho asked. Maybe 100. We were 10 billion before. The words hit the humans like a punch to the stomach. 10 billion people turned into fuel for alien machines. Where did the harvesters go? Dr. Park asked, though she was afraid of the answer. The old Villani pointed to a star map. They go from system to system. They take everything and move on. They are going that way now. Dr. Park looked at the map and felt her heart stop. The direction the Villani was pointing led straight to human space, straight to Earth. How long ago did they leave here? Captain Minho asked. 2 years. But Captain, the old Villani's voice got very quiet. They are not far ahead of you, and they have many, many ships. More than you can imagine. Back on the Dauntless, the crew was quiet. Everyone knew what this meant. The harvesters were coming for Earth. Coming for all of humanity. Captain Minho sent an emergency message to Admiral Kim. Back on Earth, the message was simple but terrifying. Found the source of the signals. Alien machines called harvesters destroyed entire civilization. They are heading for human space. Estimate arrival in 2 years. We need to prepare for war. As the Dauntless left the dead system behind, Yunhaun was still listening to the Villani signals, but now she understood them differently. They were not just calls for help anymore, they were warnings. The stars had cried out in pain and fear. Soon Earth would have to answer. But it would not answer with more crying. It would answer with something the galaxy had never seen before. It would answer with human rage. President Jiang Suyan sat in the biggest meeting room on Earth. Around the table were the most important people from every human colony. The news from Captain Minho's ship had reached Earth 3 days ago. Now everyone knew the truth. 2 years, she said, looking at each person. We have 2 years before the harvesters reach our space. Admiral Kim Do-yeon put a picture on the big screen. It showed the harvester fleet that their long-range cameras had found. The fleet was huge. Millions of ships all moving toward human space like a dark cloud. We cannot run, said General Nam Taiho. Even if we wanted to, we could not move everyone in time. Earth alone has 12 billion people. The other alien races are running, said Dr. Bae Junwoo. The Altarians are already packing their ships. The Zentari are moving to the far edge of the galaxy. President Jiang stood up. She was a small woman, but her voice was strong. Then we fight. We make our stand here. Some people in the room looked scared. Others looked angry. But no one said they should run. What do we have? Asked the President. Admiral Kim pulled up more pictures. Our space fleet has 200 big ships and about 1,000 smaller ones. We have defense platforms around Earth and the major colonies. That is not enough, said General Nam. The harvesters have millions of ships. Then we build more, said President Jiang. We turn every factory into a weapons factory. Every shipyard becomes a warship builder. Every person who can work will work for the war. Engineer Ko Min-jae raised his hand. He was young but very smart. Madam President, I have been studying the harvester technology that Captain Minho brought back. I think I can build better weapons. What kind of weapons? The harvesters are machines. They think like machines. They are good at fighting people, who fight like other aliens, but humans. We fight differently. Ko Min-jae showed them his plans. Most aliens fight in neat lines and follow rules. Humans fight dirty. We surprise enemies. We use tricks. We never give up. President Jiang smiled for the first time in days. Show us. The next 18 months changed everything. Earth became a giant factory. Every day, new ships came out of the shipyards. Every day, new weapons were tested and built. Ko Min-jae created amazing things. He built missiles that could think for themselves and hunt harvester ships. He made guns that could shoot through harvester armor. He even built special ships that looked like asteroids but were full of explosives. Captain Shin Yeji was put in charge of training new pilots. She was the best pilot in the human fleet, and she was very tough. Forget everything you learned about normal space fighting, she told her pilots. The harvesters fight like a swarm of insects. We need to fight like wolves. She taught them new tricks: how to hide behind asteroids and attack suddenly, how to work in small groups to confuse the enemy, how to ram harvester ships if they ran out of bullets. We are not trying to be fair, she told them. We are trying to win. General Nam Taiho turned every human colony into a fortress. He put big guns on asteroids. He built hidden weapons platforms in empty space. He even taught regular people how to fight if the harvesters landed on their planets. Dr. Bei Junwoo worked on the biggest project of all. It was called Project Prometheus, and it was secret. He was turning Earth's moon into a giant weapon. He was also building hidden shipyards in dead star systems where the harvesters would not look. But the strangest thing was how humans acted during this time. While other alien races were scared and running away, humans seemed almost excited. I do not understand, said Ambassador Kalik, an Altarian diplomat. Your people are about to face total destruction. Why do they seem happy? President Jang thought about this. We have been peaceful for a long time, maybe too peaceful. This war, it reminds us of what we really are. The Altarian looked confused. His people had always been peaceful. They could not understand why anyone would want to fight. You see, said General Nam, humans evolved differently. We were hunters. We were fighters. We survived by being tougher than everything that tried to eat us. But you are civilized now, said the Altarian. Yes, said President Jang, but we remember. As the time grew short, more strange things happened. Human factories were making weapons faster than anyone thought possible. Human engineers were solving problems that alien scientists said were impossible. Captain Minho, now promoted to Fleet Admiral, was amazed at what he saw. In 1 year, we built more warships than we had in the previous 50 years. Fear makes humans work harder, said Dr. Park Nari, who was now in charge of intelligence, but anger makes us work smarter. The first Harvester scout ships arrived at the edge of human space 6 months early. Everyone expected them to study human defenses and then go back to report to the main fleet. Instead, the scouts found something they had never seen before. The humans were not hiding, they were not running. They were hunting. Captain Shin Yeji led the attack on the first scout ship. Her pilots surrounded it like a pack of wolves. They hit it from 6 directions at once, using Ko Minja's new weapons. The scout ship was destroyed in minutes. Send a message to the main fleet, she told her pilots. Tell them we are waiting. More scouts came. All of them were destroyed. The harvesters had never lost scouts before. They were used to weak prey that ran away or surrendered quickly. Admiral Kim watched the battles from Earth. They are learning that humans are different, he said. Good, said President Jang. Let them learn. Let them be afraid for once. The alien races who were still in human space watched with growing worry. The Altarian sent a message to President Jang. We are grateful that you are fighting, the message said. But we are also scared. You humans are becoming something new. Something dangerous. President Jang read the message and smiled coldly. We are not becoming dangerous. We always were. Dangerous, we just forgot for a while. Dr. Bei Junwoo finished Project Prometheus just as the main Harvester fleet reached the outer edge of human space. Earth's moon was now covered with the biggest weapons ever built. The hidden shipyards had built a secret fleet twice as big as the official one. Are we ready? President Jang asked her war council. No, said Admiral Kim honestly. They still have more ships than us. But we have something they do not have, said General Nam. What? We have humans. Fleet Admiral Minho looked at the long-range scanners. The Harvester fleet was huge, like a dark wall moving across space. But he was not afraid anymore. For thousands of years, he said to his officers, the Harvesters have been killing peaceful races. They think all life is weak and easy to harvest. He turned to look at them. They are about to learn that humans are not peaceful. We are not weak, and we are definitely not easy to harvest. The final battle was about to begin. The stars had cried out in fear and pain. Now Earth was ready to answer, but Earth would not answer with fear. Earth would answer with fury. The Harvester fleet arrived like a storm of metal and death. Fleet Admiral Lee Minho watched from the bridge of his flagship as millions of enemy ships filled the space around Jupiter. They moved in perfect lines like they had done for thousands of years. "They think this will be easy," said Commander Choi Jae-won. "They think we will run or surrender like the others." "Let them think that," said Minho. "It will make our surprise better." The Harvesters sent their usual message. It was the same message they had sent to every race they destroyed. "Surrender, your biological matter will be harvested. Resistance is useless." President Jang Soo-yeon answered from Earth. Her voice was calm and cold. "We have a different message for you. This is Earth. We do not surrender. We do not run. We fight." The Harvesters did not understand. In all their years of conquest, no one had ever said no to them. The first battle began near Mars. The Harvesters sent 1,000,000 ships, expecting to crush the human defense quickly. But humans had been preparing for this moment. Captain Shin Ye-ji led the first attack. Her pilots did not fight in straight lines like other aliens. They came from everywhere at once. They hid behind asteroids and attacked from the dark side of planets. They used Ko Minja's smart missiles that hunted Harvester ships like hunting dogs. "Remember," she told her pilots over the radio, "we are not trying to be honorable. We are trying to kill them all." The human fighters moved like a pack of wolves. When the Harvesters tried to surround them, they scattered. When the Harvesters chased one group, 3 other groups attacked from behind. For the first time in their history, the Harvesters were confused. Their computers could not predict what the humans would do next because humans did not follow any rules, but there were still too many Harvester ships. Slowly, they pushed the human fleet back toward Earth. Many human ships were destroyed. Many good pilots died. "Fall back to the inner system," ordered Admiral Kim from his command center. "Let them follow us." This was all part of the plan. The humans wanted the Harvesters to come closer to Earth. They wanted them to think they were winning. The Harvesters pushed forward, destroying human defense platforms and small fleets. They were happy. This was going like all their other conquests. Soon they would harvest another world, but as they got closer to Earth, strange things began to happen. Asteroids that looked normal suddenly exploded, destroying hundreds of Harvester ships. Ko Minjae had turned them into giant bombs months ago. Space stations that seemed abandoned came alive with massive guns. Hidden missile bases fired from inside dead moons. Everywhere the Harvesters looked, humans were waiting with weapons. "They turned their whole star system into a trap," said Commander Park Nari, who was now in charge of battle intelligence. "Every rock, every moon, every piece of space junk is a weapon." The Harvesters began to realize they were not fighting a normal enemy. These humans fought like nothing they had ever seen. They destroyed their own space stations rather than let the Harvesters capture them. They rammed their ships into Harvester vessels. When they ran out of bullets, but the worst surprise was yet to come, Dr. Bae Junwoo activated Project Prometheus. Earth's moon, which had looked normal from space, suddenly opened like a flower. Giant weapons, bigger than anything ever built, rose from hidden bases all over the lunar surface. "Fire," said President Jang from her command bunker deep under Earth. The moon became a star for a moment. Beams of pure energy reached across space and touched the Harvester fleet. Where the beams hit, Harvester ships simply disappeared. Not destroyed, just gone, turned into dust and light. "Impossible," said the Harvester fleet commander, speaking for the first time in the battle. "No biological race has such weapons." "We are not like other biological races," Fleet Admiral Minho replied. "We are humans." The battle raged for 3 days. The Harvesters kept attacking, but they were losing ships faster than they ever had before. Human tactics made no sense to their computers. Humans would sacrifice 100 ships to destroy one important Harvester vessel. They would fight to the death rather than retreat. On the 3rd day, something happened that changed everything. Yoon Houn, now in charge of all human communications, managed to break into the Harvester network. She had been working on this for months, ever since Dr. Park taught her about their technology. "I'm in," she told President Jang. "I can see their command codes. Can you stop them?" "Better. I can turn them against each other." Hound sent false orders through the Harvester network. Suddenly, Harvester ships began attacking other Harvester ships. Their perfect coordination collapsed into chaos. The Harvester fleet commander tried to regain control, but it was too late. The humans had turned the machine's greatest strength, their network connection, into their weakness, with their fleet. In chaos, the Harvesters did something they had never done before. They retreated. But Fleet Admiral Minho was not finished. "Follow them," he ordered. "Hunt them down, every last one." The human fleet, including the secret ships from Dr. Bay's hidden shipyards, chased the Harvesters across 3 star systems. They showed no mercy. They remembered the Villani. They remembered all the other races that had been destroyed. Captain Choi Jae-won led ground forces to Harvester supply bases. "Take no prisoners," he told his soldiers. These machines showed no mercy to 10 billion Villani. We show no mercy to them. The final battle happened near a red star far from Earth. The last Harvester ships made their stand there, but they were broken and scared. Their perfect machine minds could not understand. What had happened to them? How? The Harvester commander asked as his ship was surrounded by human vessels. "How did you defeat us?" "We have conquered 1,000 worlds," Fleet Admiral Minho answered personally. "You conquered sheep, you conquered rabbits, but you never fought wolves before. What are you?" "We are humans. We are what happens when prey refuses to die quietly." The last Harvester ship was destroyed at exactly 1432 Earth time on March 15th, 2389. Yoon Hound sent a message across the galaxy. It reached every star system, every surviving alien race, every corner of known space. "This is Earth," the message sighed. "The stars cried out for help. We heard them. The Harvesters are dead. The galaxy is safe." But the message had a second part, and this part made some aliens very worried. Any other species that thinks about harming innocent people should remember this day. Remember what happened to the Harvesters. Earth is watching. Earth is ready. President Jang stood on the balcony of her office, looking up at the stars. The war was over. Humanity had won. But she knew they were different now. They had remembered what they really were. "What happens now?" asked Admiral Kim, joining her on the balcony. "Now we make sure this never happens again," she said. "We hunt down any remaining Harvesters. We protect the weak races. We become the guardians of the galaxy." "And if other races are afraid of us?" President Jang smiled, but it was not a kind smile. "Good, let them be afraid. Fear keeps people honest." Far across the galaxy, the few surviving Harvester ships fled into the dark between stars. Their programming was damaged, their purpose broken. For the first time in millions of years, they knew what it felt like to be prey. The stars had cried out in pain and terror. Earth had answered with fire and fury. The galaxy would never be the same again.